This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening. Welcome to this evening's Newscast in Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. After years of being at the helm of the fight against the lopsided Stabroek Block production sharing agreement, Kaieteur News publisher Glenn Lal, through his lawyers, has officially mounted a legal challenge against the onerous deal. The case was filed this morning and lists Attorney General Anil Nandlal as the respondent. The document essentially states that several paragraphs of Article 13, that should be Article 15 of the agreement, which speaks to the paltry 2% royalty and massive tax exemptions for Exxon, its partners and their affiliated companies and subcontractors, violate the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act, the Financial Administration and Audit Act, the Prevention of Discrimination Act, and the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. In light of these violations, it is asking that the court declare Article 15 to be null and void. In other news regarding low fish catch plaguing the agriculture sector, President Ali has promised $8 million profit and said fishermen will be able to breathe a sigh of relief soon as his government will be examining, in collaboration with fisherfolk, the establishment of marine cages. Often referred to as cage culture, this experimental method of aquaculture involves the confinement and production of fish inside a mesh in existing water resources such as ponds, rivers, estuaries, open ocean, etc. The mesh retains the fish, making it easier to feed, observe, and harvest. Preliminary research conducted by Kaieteur notes, however, that this form of aquaculture is still in its trial stage, even though some countries have had some degrees of success with a limited number of species. In hinterland communities, he said the government is looking at marine cages in the rivers where the water is flowing to grow tilapia there in a more natural environment, which reduces the cost of operations and helps boost hinterland livelihood. For the fisherfolk on the coast, he said Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa will engage them shortly on a similar marine cage project that would guarantee a set volume of production annually. And now let's tell you, when it comes to the regulation of its petroleum industry, Suriname authorities ensure that the requisite monitoring systems, as well as the human resources needed, are always in place to keep a watchful eye on every move an oil company makes with their resources. In this way, Rudolf Elias, a former head of Staatsolie, Suriname's national oil company, said the authorities of the Dutch-speaking nation achieved two objectives. The first, he said, is that they ensured there is respect for the rules and regulations in place, since what gets regulated gets done. And secondly, officials are able to learn and grow their knowledge based on various aspects of the sector. Given the benefits that accrue from the foregoing, Elias said he would encourage Guyana to follow suit as soon as possible. The EPA is pursuing several systems for remote real-time monitoring of activities offshore. And now let's tell you, with President Ali signaling his intention to soon appoint members to sit on the Natural Resource Fund Board of Directors, which will oversee the revenues garnered from oil and gas, the political opposition is registering its concern over the fact that the country will not have a say in how the oil money will be spent. Shadow Oil and Gas Minister David Patterson specifically pointed to the fact that the new law provides for the president to handpick members to sit on the board, with no input from the opposition, which also represents a large proportion of Guyana. This board replaces a 22-member committee that the previous administration had put in place to ensure transparency and inclusion of key stakeholders such as civil society organizations and community-based organizations. And now let's tell you, the surge of COVID-19 cases continues, with Guyana recording 1,000 new infections on Wednesday. Some 13 persons are in critical condition at the ICU. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony announced that the new cases now take the total active cases in the country to 7,613. According to the minister, most of the active cases have been detected in the coastal regions, with Region 4 leading with 4,878 cases, Region 3 with 912, Region 6 with 561. With the new cases attributed to the Omicron variant, Minister Anthony is warning persons experiencing flu-like symptoms to isolate and get tested for the virus, since Omicron resembles influenza. It should be noted that if a person has been exposed to someone with COVID-19, they should isolate themselves for at least 5 days before going to a testing site. And to wrap things up this evening, let's tell you that a 16-year-old girl on Tuesday was reportedly rescued from being raped along the Coverton East Bank Demerara public road, allegedly by a GDF rank. Rescuing the teen from the hands of the alleged sexual predator was a man who saw her trembling and crying by the roadside. She had managed to escape her attacker by unlocking one of the doors and running a short distance away, but not before using her phone to take a photo of his license plate number, PXX490. The GDF rank owns a private car but would use it as a taxi during his spare time. This information was given to police and he was reportedly detained for questioning yesterday. And with that, we've come to the end of this evening's newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Coming up at 19 hours 20 is Guyana's Oil and Dew with editor at the Kaieteur News, Ms. Kiana Wilberg.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Every day is a grave injustice being added to this land by our leaders. The government of this country are not defending, protecting, fighting for, or standing up for the citizens of this country and their rights. For this reason, Guyana, I have instituted through my lawyer, Muhammad Ali, a legal action filed today. We are simply asking the High Court to declare Article 15 of the 2016 Petroleum Agreement between the government of Guyana and ExxonMobil, who was granted several tax breaks, to be declared unlawful and as such null and void. The action I filed today, guys, identifies several violations of our tax laws and financial laws. It violates the Discrimination Act and the Constitution of Guyana. We hope to prove with this lawsuit that the government should have never entered into such an agreement. I will keep you updated on this case as we wait for the first hearing sometime soon. Man, every citizen of this country has to pay taxes whether they work or extract the resources of this country. Why these foreigners can come here, work and extract the resources of this country without paying taxes? It should have been the other way around. That's how it is anywhere in the world. You just can't pick up yourself, go into another man's country, dig out the gold, extract them oil, resources, and don't adhere to the tax laws of that country. Which country with decent leaders allow that to happen? Do you know of any country, Guyana? Almost all the public servants from top to bottom does not know that they should be carrying home 10 times the salary per month they are taking home presently. Guyana gave away ExxonMobil $720 million in taxes for 2020 alone. had the coalition and this present administration collected that 720 million, everybody salary could have been 10 times. Had Guyana collected that money, it could have given a new harbor bridge across the Demerara River, plus the Bourbeast River, plus the Essequibo River. Come on, man. Come on. You see why I moved to the High Court? And this is just the chicken feed money. Because when they start with 1, 2, and 3, it's all that money is going to disappear. Come on. We got to stop it. The government or the leaders of this land are not defending, protecting, fighting for, or standing up for the citizens of this country and their rights. For this reason, I have initiated through my lawyer, Mr. Muhammad Ali, this legal action in which I filed today. We are simply asking the High Court to declare Article 15 of the 2016 Petroleum Agreement between the government of Guyana and ExxonMobil-led consortium, which was granted several tax breaks and concessions, to be declared unlawful and as such null and void. The action I filed today identifies several violations of the Fiscal Management and Accountability Act of 2003, the Financial Administration Audit Act, the Prevention of Discrimination Act, the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act, and most importantly, the Constitution of Guyana. We hope to prove with this action that the government should never enter into such an agreement. I will keep you updated on this case as we wait for the first hearing. See you guys soon. Fellow Guyanese, this land has become super rich overnight. Guyana is on the lips of the world leaders of every country in this world. That's how rich we are. But only our leaders are numb, deaf, and dumb to these vast resources we have just discovered. Our oil. 90% of the citizens of this country has been living in dire need for the basic necessities of life. This newfound wealth should and must lift every citizen of this land to get a great life. But a great life depends on our leaders, their actions and their decisions. It is time every one of us stand up